We're here today with Wichita Police Chief Gordon Ramsay to cover a topic that's very important to him, transparency. He's going to talk today about some of the issues his department has faced in regards to transparency. Chief, thanks for being here.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Well, as you know, there have been several stories in the news lately involving current and former police officers. What do you want people to know about some of the allegations of police misconduct?
Well, I think one of the crucial things to keep in mind is that we work really hard to hire the best and the brightest. We go through a vetting process where we really look at people's backgrounds, what kind of individuals they are. We look for character and try to hire the best and those with the integrity that we want to serve our community. It's important to remember, though, we hire standard issue people. You know, when you put on the badge, you don't undergo a metamorphosis. And our workplace is like any other workplace. You know, we have employee issues from time to time, but we hold our officers and staff to a much higher standard. And our expectations are much greater, and we focus on policies and training to ensure that we do everything we can to avoid misconduct.
Now, some people have said with these incidents that they wish your department would share more. They're saying that your department isn't living up to its own standard of greater transparency. What do you want those people to know?
Well, you know, I want the community to know that one is that we are working very hard to communicate with the public and ensure they know what's going on inside the department. But we are guided by a large extent by three rules. The Open Records Act, what's public and what's not, that's determined by the state. We're guided by union contracts. We're guided by city policies. And those are the areas that we have to live within when we talk about employee issues. You've got, you know, employees have a certain right to privacy, as well as keeping in mind those three guiding lights that I just mentioned, and that's what we have to work within. We have been more transparent in providing information as far as when an officer is arrested. Previously, that information was never disseminated. So we are doing what we can to be more transparent, but the reality is you know, we are limited to an extent by law, policies, and contracts that we must abide by.
Now, you've also had some current and former police officers making some strong allegations over an incident that involved a hit and run and a former police officer. Is there anything you can tell us about that?
Yeah, well, you know, having been a chief now for almost 12 years, is that we do have employees oftentimes that, you know, get disgruntled or don't like the direction we're going. For me, integrity and running the department above board is crucial for our success. Now, we deal with complicated issues every day. We deal with employee issues frequently. And for me, we operate within our policy guidelines and going back to holding officers to a higher standard. That it's a priority for me to ensure that the department has the trust of those that we serve. And that's what I focus on every day. And as much as I'd like to talk in depth about employee issues, currently the rules don't always allow it.
Well, Chief, in another incident at a local bank, there were some issues over body camera footage. Will you talk a little bit about your department's policies on when you do and don't release body camera footage?
Yeah, I'm a huge proponent of body cameras and the value of the video that they produce. We're resolving a lot of complaints early on, citizen complaints, by allowing individuals to review the video and look at it. The issues with body camera footage is, you know, I believe this is a legislative issue. And the current law allows for interpretation, allows for attorneys to be involved, and it is not that clear in what is public and what is not. I would like to see clarity provided by the legislature that says this must be public and this isn't. You got to remember, in body camera footage, we catch people at the worst moments of their life, right? We go into people's homes and we're with them during the worst moments of their life, and should that be available to neighbors, ex-boyfriends, or ex-girlfriends? What should be public and what shouldn't? As well as the issues associated with criminal investigation. And those are all things that you know, we need to address and we need to make sure are clear. But the reality is that I don't believe that body camera footage should be available to just anybody. Now, like I said, we clear a lot of complaints by allowing citizens to come in and review the videos of their incidents. And the laws currently are a little bit problematic in this sense. I do believe that on high-profile incidents where the community has concerns, that should be public. Right now, policies do not allow for that, and we are going to be doing a comprehensive review of our video policies to make sure we're up with national standards and best practices.
Okay. I know the police department recently formed a citizen review board to look into allegations of police misconduct. Some of the critics are saying that the board's set up to operate in private and that its findings won't be released. Is there anything you want to address about those concerns or anything you can do to make the board more transparent?
Yeah, well, this is an effort to be more transparent and bring the public into the police department. Because as I mentioned, I'm very proud of the work that we do on internal investigations. I welcome public scrutiny. I welcome people to poke, prod, pull back layers, ask questions, because it makes us better and it helps the citizens understand. But again, we are guided by employee rights, governed by the Opens Record Act and policies as well as union contracts. So while they won't be able to talk publicly about specific cases because of employee rights, they will be able to go back to their communities and express how they feel about the system and what they're seeing. We do extensive work on complaints, and like I said, I'm proud to show that off to the public, and I welcome the public's involvement in our complaint process to help us be better. You know, not always is it an employee misconduct issue. Sometimes it's policy, sometimes it's training that we need to focus on. And I believe that this review board will make us stronger. And while they don't have the authority to discipline, they have the authority to make recommendations for policies, training, as well as other operational issues.
So how frustrating has it been for you as chief to be limited on what you can and can't release and share with the public?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that opportunity, because one thing you got to keep in mind is that this is the umbrella that the department's operated under for many, many, many years. And this is not the Gordon Ramsay way of releasing information. This is what I'm confined by. And you know, I think that there's times where I'd like to share more with the public, and that's something we have to review and within the legal boundaries and contract guidelines. But the biggest thing is that you gain trust every day by being out in the community and working with your community members and them getting to know our police officers. I can't tell you how many times over the years that I've had people say, well, that officer's behavior is inconsistent with what I know of the Wichita Police Department. And the reality is we have great employees, but we've got 850 of them. And it's no different than any other workplace where there are employees that make mistakes. And when that happens, we are going to deal with it. We hold our employees to a very high standard. And we're going to deal with it and address it and do everything we can to ensure that mistakes don't happen again.
All right. Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No, you know, I think opportunities like this to discuss issues are critical. And, you know, I always welcome invitations from the community to talk to different groups about these things so they know my perspective and the direction the department's going.
All right, Chief, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And thank you for watching.